So Kevin, Ryan Hill is my teammate. He slips there. Warren jumps on him, tries to get in the clinch, but you notice Hill has double underhooks now and turns him back into the fence. He is super strong in this position. Watch out for the right hand of Hill, I was just saying before, because it's not so much the power, although he might have that as well,
right.
The grip on his right hand. If he gets a grip on you behind the neck, it's so hard to break. I've got almost 100 pounds on him, and even I have trouble getting it off of me sometimes.
Ryan Hill in the blue gloves, Samuel Warren in the red gloves. Both fighters tied up in the corner. The referee for this event is Arvin Terrell. This fight scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds.
So I'm not clear exactly what Hill's game plan is. And by the way, you can see he's completely bricked up. Totally muscular guy. Not an ounce of fat on him. He was thinking about fighting at 155, but I'm not sure what weight he can lose to get down there. He's got inside control. What I'd like to see him either do is use that to move up to the clinch or maybe execute a takedown. This is a very dominant position. If you've got both arms underneath their arms, you can move them however you want. You got to be either really high behind the neck or really low on the waist, but either way, you can do a lot from this position.
If the referee doesn't see any action when the guys are even standing up, will he break them up?
He should. In fact, I would be looking for that now. I think maybe he wasn't anticipating being here. It's not quite clear, but he's got the dominant position. I think what the referee is like, hey, do something with it, you know? You've got a great spot. Let's see what you can do. But if he doesn't do a little bit more than this, I think he's going to be forced to break it.
Samuel Warren, 30 years of age. Ryan Hill, 34, fighting out of the blue corner. Both guys weighing 170 pounds. They look pretty similar up there. As they went by me, you know, it's funny because I try to get close to him and I try to see what's happening. As you see Arvin break the fight up and separate him. I think that's a good move.
Yep, and you see Hill in the southpaw stance. I've never sparred with him from the left, or excuse me, from Muay Thai. Only done it with jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Now, if you've seen any footage on Warren, he just likes to blitzkrieg. As long as he's in the middle here, he's going to do what he's doing, single shotting. So for Hill, he has to decide what range of this fight does he want to compete at. If he's going to fight at this range, that's fine. Be prepared for the single shot or take him down on the ground where I think a dominant position would force him to gas out. I don't think that's necessarily Warren's, how shall we say, that's not where he wants to fight or think his best chance of winning might be.
Samuel Warren in the red gloves. Ryan Hill in the blue gloves. Both fighters standing towards the other side of the ring, close to the Domino's logo on the side of the red cage. As they move back towards the middle, do you want to stay in the middle when you stand up?
Sure. Well, it depends what you want to do. Some guys might pressure other guys against the cage, but it depends on the reaction. Some guys, when their backs are against the cage, they become even more dangerous. They take more risks. It's not clear. It looks like this round was a feeling out period for both fighters. See how these guys feel from a strength standpoint and what they might want to do.
And that's the end of round number 1 between Ryan Hill and Samuel Warren.
Yeah, you see the nice inside low kick took Hill off balance, but Hill recovered, getting inside control.
That's a good left right there from Warren.
In fact, it's the perfect counter for that kind of kick. So what I would say is if Hill wants to use that kick, he should slow the guy down, especially for a guy who likes to blitz other people, but you got to bring something before it, and you definitely want to bring something after it.
Now, we've seen this before here with this type of surface out here, and I've seen it tonight. When they come out and they clean this thing after round 1, I think you got to watch out and watch your footing. They try to dry it the best they can, but when you have this many fights and this many events, it gets really slippery out there, and I feel that fighters sometimes just slip and fall, and it's really not a knockdown.
And what can you do? You train on mats, and if the mats are sweaty, they're slippery,
right,
but they don't have ads on them. So it's just not something you can really prepare for except scrambling. Are you a good scrambler? If you fall, how quickly can you get back up? That's an important trait, either wrestling or if you slip from a strike.
Round number 2 coming up. This fight sponsored by DoubleTree in Hilton Sterling Dulles, the place to stay when visiting DC. Both fighters standing toe-to-toe, middle of the ring, Domino's logo. Red gloves, Samuel Warren, Ryan Hill in the blue gloves.
Pay attention to the the right heel of Ryan Hill. See him lifting like that? Look like he might be going for a middle kick here when he lifts it, or a low kick like that. Also, what he could be doing is, I'm just going to leg kick you on the inside to death to set up that middle kick to the body. In a previous fight, Warren was dropped twice with a shot to the liver, like we saw in the last fight. This is better. He's a little more active, but both guys are single-shotting a little bit. But listen, if you're going to throw a strike and the other guy's not going to respond,
right,
it's working. Keep doing it.
Good left from Warren. I don't know if it stung him, but it got in there.
Hard hard inside low kick. Already you can see Warren's leg is damaged.
A lot of people at home, when they're watching this and they're going, oh, those don't sting. But those inner leg kicks, they'll take a toll after 2 or 3 rounds.
Not only do they sting, they can permanently damage you if you take enough of them. They can take you off balance. It's hard to put weight on them. It makes it hard to walk. It makes it hard to shift. It makes it, if you are a wrestler and you want to shoot, you can't really use that as a penetrating leg. It's incredibly damaging and powerful. And here's what I would say. If you don't think that sucks, there's an MMA or Muay Thai gym near you. Go take the Pepsi challenge and see how bad that hurts.
Just let him stand there and kick the inner thigh.
Yes, I don't think this hurts, well-muscled, trained man. See what happens.
Both fighters still not a lot of action. Ryan Hill in the blue gloves, Samuel Warren in the red gloves. Samuel Warren fighting out of Modern Gladiator, Ryan Hill fighting out of the Beta Academy.
So Ryan's got center of the cage. He keeps going back to it because the guy's not checking it, but he might get more desperate as the fight goes on. So maybe with a double jab, push him back to range and then fire the kick up the middle. Just a more varied shot selection generally is a good idea. There he goes, outside of the leg.
Here's the thing. Sometimes I think these guys are afraid to commit because of the crowd. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be knocked out.
Yeah, listen, you're not fighting 2 guys by themselves. This is an audience. There are people, your friends are here, your coach is here. It's hard to be the person you want to be in your head in this kind of scenario, but that's what competition's all about. You got to get up there and you got to bring your skills to the highest level that they can be, and you have to showcase them, and that's not easy, but that's what they signed up for.
As we come up to end of round number 2, both fighters still in the middle of the ring. Just kind of dancing around.
Warren needs to figure something out. He's just getting, there we go, nice shot to the body. He's just sort of taking these kicks.
And there it is, the end of round number 2 between Samuel Warren and Ryan Hill. As the seconds come in and put the bench in there, this wasn't a lot of action. It wasn't a lot of action. How do you score a slow fight like that?
This one's, listen, to your point, a slow fight with not a lot of activity, you can leave it in the hands of the judges, and that can get a little hairy. But in this particular case, I would just ask, I know I'm his teammate, but you can maybe tell me I'm wrong. I just didn't see a lot out of Warren in that round.
Right.
Hill was just doing more. Maybe not enough to satisfy the crowd, maybe not enough to satisfy you or me, but enough to get the job done. Let's see what he can do in round 3.
Samuel Warren snuck in a couple of lefts, but I don't think they stung him at all. As they made those lefts came in, I don't think that they stung Hill at all, and I think that he just brushed that off.
No, but those leg kicks, look, you can see his coach icing the inside of his leg in his corner. That means it's having a real effect.
So as you sit in here and your seconds come in here and your coach comes in here, what is he telling right now? What is he going to say to Ryan Hill?
Something he needs to correct, something he should watch out for, and something that what he's doing, he should commit more to. It's kind of basic. You've only got 1 minute. You can't make the instructions complicated. Sharpen up what's going well and tighten up what's not going well.
And he was really animated about it, so whatever he wanted to say, he said it with a purpose.
Coach Nakapon is animated about everything. He could be ordering McDonald's in a drive-thru and he'd just be super animated about it.
All right, here we go. The start of round number 3. Both fighters come out, touch gloves here on the Domino's logo.
Right away. Look, so much of mixed martial arts, so much of combat sports is just being proactive. Who's going to strike first? Doesn't mean being reckless, but it does mean just be that proactive. Who kicked first? Who kicked twice? Ryan Hill.
And Warren's trying to throw these kicks, but they're not having any effect on Hill at all.
He's touching him. Now, that's okay if you're just touch, and then you want to switch up to throw a bomb or either a kick or a punch. You can do a thing where you're changing the rhythm because they just think, oh, well, he's going to touch, and then bang, you crack him. That'd be okay, but if you're just touching and moving, I'm not sure exactly what you're accomplishing.
More kicks than punches thrown by Ryan Hill here as they dance around the ring.
And also, look what's happening here. Ryan is going to throw a kick, it seems like, eventually to the inside leg, and it's going to force Warren to reset every time. There, resetting again. He's not countering at all.
Both fighters in the middle, Samuel Warren in the red gloves, Ryan Hill in the blue gloves. Kind of moving around the side over here, coming by the Max Muscle logo.
If I'm Warren, I'm thinking the fight's close, but I'm thinking I got to do something different here. Now, what that is, take it to the ground, I don't know. Change up the way I plan to approach the striking, I don't know. But just doing the same thing he's doing, that seems like a risky proposition. Now, that was better. Catching the kick and then firing a left and a right to counter.
Round number 3 here.
I have to say, again, I know I'm biased. Correct me if I'm wrong. but it feels like Hill is throwing the harder strikes. Even if he's not throwing the maybe as much punches, the kicks when they land like that are having much more effect. I mean, he is chewing him to pieces with that.
And I mean, he's focused on the legs. I see the eyes and he's focused. Does that leave him open for Warren over the top?
Yeah, it could, but you can see he's got a pretty decent high guard there. And also, is Warren really threatening with that? I mean, you don't want to get lazy, but it's not like it's something he's been showing him for 2 rounds. I mean, you can hear those land. Look at that. He is chewing up that lead leg. And why not? You're not getting countered at all. And look, good move circling back to the center of the cage. Staying off the cage with his back to make sure he has open space to do what he wants to do.
I don't know if you can zoom in on that, but those marks on Warren's leg, man, they're really starting to stand out. On that front leg, they're really starting to stand out from our vantage point.
Okay, so check this out. Now when he throws, look what Warren's doing. He just did it again. He's dropping his left to catch it. Boy, if Hill can time it just right, he can crack him over the top with the right hand. See how he dropped the hand again every time to go catch it because he doesn't want to get hit there anymore. Dropped it again. He's wide open for that hook.
And there it is, the end of round number 3 here at Cagezilla. Ashburn, Virginia, some great fights. So as soon as we get a chance here, we'll take a look back at this. But I'm really not sure. You know, I'm just guessing Hill just for the fact that he landed more kicks to the inner leg.
Warren did a little bit here. You see him chasing with the punches, but he's reaching out. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot behind it because he's throwing off balance. And here we see Hill switch step kick. Doesn't quite land, but he's at least getting Warren to be defensive. For me, again, I have a skin in the game, but it looked like the most significant damage was clearly done by Ryan Hill.
All right, we'll go right back up. We'll find out who the winner of this event is, and we'll come back. We'll see Tevin Cook and Raz Cyan. It's Cagezilla here in Ashburn, Virginia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have the card. The judges have scored this fight unanimous, 27-30, 27-30, and 27-30. Winner, out of the blue corner, from the Beta Academy, is Ryan Hill.
Great job by Ryan Hill, a disciplined game plan. He saw what was working, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The leg kicks were damaging. They shut down the offensive Warren. A good workmanlike decision. Here are the highlights again. This was the one moment Warren was trying to fire back, but just off balance, couldn't quite connect. We'll have more Cagezilla action like this when we return.